Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ife Keke, and you're welcome to today's podcast, Igbos in Diaspora, the challenges, the dilemma, and call for home investment. Uh, in a moment of time, I'll be introducing my special guest for today. You're welcome, please. We appreciate your comments, your contributions, and help us to share the content as the program commences. Welcome back. Once again, the program's title today is Igbos in Diaspora, and I have a very important and special guest today. My guest today is a very important personnel, Mr. Sunday Aja Chonwu Ezesele. He is a lecturer of economics and business studies at the University of Zululand in South Africa. His PhD in progress. You're welcome, sir. Please, can you greet the people, sir?
Igbo ndị ọma njem ọnụ ekele m ụnụ daalụnụ.
Ndewo. Sir, you're welcome once again, and we appreciate your time, your tight schedules. You are here to make a very special input in today's topic. We are looking at Igbos in diaspora, the challenges, the dilemma, and call for home investment. I know that as a stakeholder in Igbo affair and as a senior lecturer, you have a lot to do in terms of this subject. First and foremost, we'll begin with the just concluded election in Nigeria, the presidential and the gubernatorial elections. The Igbos recently in Lagos received a number of harassments. Some of them were verbal, but those verbal harassments were translated into actions at the election days, both at the presidential and the state. And nothing seriously was done. In fact, one of the stakeholders of APC in Lagos verbally said the Igbos have to leave or they should not vote in Lagos. In the end, it looks like everything died down without a proper response from authorities. And are we supposed to let that go? Then we had the South Africa some time ago. There was this xenophobia, and everything looks like it was normal. Everything died down. And the question is, after all these attacks here and there, one would expect a mass exodus of Igbos down to southeast. But it seems nothing like that is happening. Please, sir, what's your take on these numerous attacks and Igbo's response afterwards?
Thank you so much for having me on board. The massive attack of the Igbos in Lagos supposed to be a concern to every Igbo man and woman. In a country where people get attacked, people being dehumanized for trying to cast out their vote, supposed to be a concern for all governments to make sure that those who carry such an act are being summoned or arrested. But in this case, no one, we cannot prove that there's anyone who has been apprehended or questioned or summoned to court for carrying such kind of an act. And he was very surprised that a commissioner of police actually stood before the people and said that the threat carried by SM Ulu was just a joke. I mean, uh, people carry out such kind of a threat and you call it a joke. Not only, not only call it a joke, but have not even been arrested, and they will still see him walking around freely. This is a concern to everybody who is an Igbo man and woman, wherever you are, whether in Lagos or any diaspora, to use your teeth or your lips to count your teeth. I mean, all a very serious issue, a disgrace in that matter. In a country where we say we practice democracy, some individuals carry such kind of atrocity, a crime of such a magnitude, and get away with it. Um, our people should, by now, think twice about their staying in Lagos and consider their staying in Lagos as something that has to be as a matter of urgency. We have a very, Igbos is a very nice area. For example, myself, I don't think I can stay anywhere outside Igbo land whenever I choose to return back home. And I don't see reason why Igbos in Lagos should be tortured, killed, humanized, on the verge of casting their own vote or demonstrate their own electoral
Franchise.
rights. At the same time, they're being dehumanized, they're being tortured, some are being, it's become like a war between Igbos and the Yorubas in Lagos, where Igbos are seen as a threat and try by all means to defranchise them from casting their own votes. This cannot be taken for granted. And it's about time the Igbo leaders think twice and know how our people can be organized together. Igbo land is not a desert. And I don't see reason why people should be afraid of going back and staying home because it's important we put hands together to develop our area so that our area can be accommodate everybody. So now the issue about the Igbos in South Africa, uh, there is no difference between xenophobia we found in South Africa and the one we actually experience in all various parts of Nigeria, including Lagos, Kaduna, Kanu, Port Harcourt, and so forth. The same issue also applies there. But I will also say that the issue about xenophobia in South Africa is not targeted the Igbos.
Okay.
However, Igbos are also part of Africa. You cannot count Africa and exclude Igbos. Therefore, what happened in South Africa affects Igbos, but Igbos were not affected. In some cases, if you witness what happened during that time, it faced a lot of condemnation from all over. And it's not something anyone can wish to experience once again, but at the same time, it's a very terrible experience by those who experience it, by those who are victims of such kind of xenophobia, Africa, and the world in general. So therefore, we don't wish to experience such kind of xenophobia in our lifetime again. Even the one we are facing in various parts of Nigeria is not something anyone can be proud of. So, and I can only mention one or two things concerning the xenophobia in South Africa.
Okay.
Practically, it's not only about the Igbos, but Africa which Igbos are part of Africa. Our
Yeah.
people, in other hand, should also try and limit the amount, of noise, and they try by all means to legitimize the self in activity that can also be productive.
Okay.
You know, as I said, the massive attack for Igbos, this is a form of envy, which you can also agree with me. It's envy,
Yeah.
it's the envy that people have against the dominating gift of success from God to the Igbos,
Yeah.
which, of course, anywhere you see an Igbo man doing business, he give it the best. And God give Igbos that kind of gift of success, and which attract envy, jealous for the people in the area. The same also applies here in South Africa. You still apply in Lagos, still apply in Port Harcourt, still apply in Kano, still apply in Kaduna, where they are applied their envy and jealous that are that over the time develop into hatred, and they can never take away the gift God given us as Igbos. So that was one of the main key reasons that attract xenophobia in South Africa, where the people that you are living in the area, they are seeing you driving some expensive car that they know that no amount of income they're earning that can allow them to drive such kind of a car. They are seeing you doing things that they cannot even think of doing. They are accusing you about using the influence of what you have to taking away their own ladies. This, all these are combined together and brings to the envy and the hatred that are altogether build the hatred that we see or we saw during those period. At the same time, our people also don't know how to minimize their success. They
Okay.
always like you to know that I am this, I am that, I have it, and I know how to use it.
Yeah.
So all these things, and you're doing this in a country where you are practically not a citizen, even if you are by paper. So all these things put together and then brought about such kind of xenophobia. In some instances, where you also not legitimize the activity that you are doing, that you are earning that kind of resources that you are using to show them that I have this, and become a question. So this was the issue that we experienced from our people. I'm not saying that if God bless you with success, you should not be able to use them in a way that it make you happy. But
Sure.
you should
Sure.
also consider some other factors that might emulate from exposing yourself under the circumstances, knowing very well that look, this is a country where yes, we have law and then others we have a kind of system in place. You have human life that is very effective and fashionable. But at the same time, you must also understand that you are not from here.
That's right.
That must always be something in the head and the mind of us. We must also understand I'm not from here. No matter what laws that are backing me up or laws that are standing by my side, I still have to understand very well that I'm not come from here. Life is only you. His life is for the living.
Yeah.
So a dead person don't speak about the words. So
That's
in
right.
that instances, that is what spark into the xenophobia that we experienced some 2019 or so. And some other things associated with this is something that somebody cannot be proud of saying. So, but what I'm trying to say here is that a word is supposed to be enough for the wise.
Thank you very much, sir.
If you want to display the amount of wealth you have, you better display it when you are in your comfort zone.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you
sir.
so much.
The Igbos generally, like you have said, a lot of factors you have mentioned, which is one is envy. But I do know that there were times that the Israeli nation were always in other people's country, but after a period of time, it's like they resolved to take some of their wealth, especially in nuclear sciences back home. And today, the Israeli we know is leading in nuclear science. And of course, they have their presence in most of the nations in leading technologies of those nations, like in the Israelis, in the Jew in US, in Europe, they lead in most of the nuclear units. So the second thing I want to look at is you just mentioned there's a need for the Igbos to plan to bring back their investment, like the Jews did some years ago, and today Israel is a top nation globally. You are an academic guru. What's your take? If you come to Southeast, we have fewer number of both federal, state, and private higher institutions. Now, people are asking questions with all the resources we have. Why are there not even more investments in the institution aspect where some of the wealth can be invested in here in Southeast? And in Southeast, I mean the 5 eastern states, not just Anambra State. We have Imo, Ebonyi, we have Abia, and Enugu states. So, what's your take? Bringing more institutions, because if you have institutions more, people can even you can have courses on business, not just trading. People can learn more modern day business, and the Igbos can bring in their ideas. We can have a lot of successful Igbo men lecture on successes in trading. So, what's your take, sir, on the institution aspect? Because we seem to be lagging also on that aspect.
Yes, you are 100% right. At the same time, lower development in the southeast is part of the reason. Majority of the Igbos with a higher income bracket live outside the Igbo land. And in that regard, their children, their relatives, school, and universities that are close to the area where they are residing. So, population also counts in deciding the amount of higher institutions location. And it also bow down to our leaders. They are not representing us well in terms of bringing in this kind of higher institutions. Remember, the small amount of high institution in our Igbo land constitute to the higher tuition fees of the school fees.
Okay.
Because when there is, people say that when there is a number of people chasing a small goose, it has to attract the price to go up. I can also tell you that because of the little number of high institutions in the southeast, has also caused the price of the school fees to a little bit
Yeah.
goes high, which our leaders are not doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of making sure. One of my key objective in my PhD is about human capital,
Yeah, human capital. Yeah.
which education is the champion of the human capital. And at the same time, our senior academic staff, I'm sorry to say this, are not living up to expectation. Um, which includes for them to be able to consult to our leaders, governors of the state, and they consistently telling them about the need to improve in education infrastructure, building in more institutions, because it is also part of development.
Yeah, it is.
Wherever you see a higher institution, it brings in a very huge amount of development in that area.
Sure, sure.
So when we talk about development, we talk about physical infrastructure such as high institution, bring in so much development in the area, attract so much people in the area. These also help the GDP of that region, which our people are not doing the best they can. And at the same time, I remember some time ago, I managed to had a discussion with one of senior lecturer at the economy department, one of in Unizik. And among other
Okay.
things we discussed was that what we call an exchange program. And I also mentioned something about how our institutions can help our people in terms of securing scholarship, bursary, grants. It's not always the case. Most of the duty of higher institutions involve the community project, community
Yeah.
engagement, and in doing so, you are helping the community. And remember, the higher institution in most cases has to do with solving the issue that are affecting the community, and then solving the issue that affect the community in returning of payment. The reason why people go to school is to allow you to develop the skill that you can use to solve a problem in exchange of salary, right? But that's
Yeah.
generally not the case when we come to our own issues in our own various southeast. People, even our senior staffs in various universities, they are only care about their own personal goal, how much my salary, how much my annual returns and stuff like that. They are not even concerned about um, the the business of the institution. And what is it? Because for you to be able to achieve the business of university, if you have a product, people don't buy. You have to sit back. Why people not buying my product? Who are the products? Are the students. If your students are not being employable, it's supposed to be a concern for that institution. Why are they not employable? What is wrong? Is it the ingredients that are made up of my products? That is my curriculum. Is it what is required in the market?
Yeah.
What is they don't care about that. And at the same time, they don't understand what it means by securing the scholarship for the students. They don't understand what that means. Even if they do, they become a cluster of individuals. You know, they become a cluster of individuals who have this particular scholarship for themselves and people of their friends. So all these things become a problem that we suppose has been pointed out. At some point, we understand that even in our government, the southeastern governments or governors are not doing well. They're supposed to be encouraged to stand up and live up to the expectation and represent the people by making sure that they build more institutions, more high institutions enable our areas, our region, to have the development structures that we are looking for. Imagine in a state whereby we have in Southeast, for example, imagine if we have another 10 institutions in the Southeast. Imagine the kind of development it will bring to the Southeast.
Yeah, massive one.
Massive development will come to the Southeast. And people is going to have what we call an external economy that is based on that particular institutions. There will be a security structures, there will be hostels, there will be various form of support structure that are going to support the institutions. But now,
Sure.
our governors are not even thinking towards that area. Building a road infrastructure, not only the only government groups to provide.
Sure.
Because you
Sure.
see, only whatever the governors are focusing about is how to build road infrastructures. That is now the only or paying salary of the existing staff. That is not the only priority of a state. So this issue about improving and building more of high institutions are very significant and necessary in order to achieve the developmental pack we're looking for in the Southeast. And even at point where we have this massive, I mentioned earlier that most of the higher income brackets of Igbos live outside the Igbo land.
Yeah.
The reason is that the reason is that because they look at the nature of the development, which I will come there in a later stage, and they
Yeah.
believe that staying in Lagos, let my kid go to school in Lagos or go to Abuja or go to Kano will be a better option. But if we have a number of universities in the Southeast that provide the kind of relative development in the Southeast, will actually push many of them to and come back and help kinds of school system. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much. Thank you. You've really mentioned a number of issues because I was going to bring you back to where you talked about the the state government apparatus, then the senior lecturers having the lecturers having this as a burden, and then ensuring they present the need for more institution, building of infrastructures, not just building of roads. Now, don't you think that there is a need for a stakeholders interaction? And maybe what I mean by stakeholders, in Anambra State, Anambra is blessed with a number of wealthy people who have money to invest. Don't you think the state government, there's a need for state government and these stakeholders having a roundtable discussion, and then government reiterating this as a need, and then showing where they have strength, what they are bringing on the table, and then a kind of enticing these billionaires to make this as a priority. Because as it stands now, the Southeast needs more of institutions. Anambra, for instance, how many private institutions do we have? Then the state government is how many? Because like you have said earlier, when we have all these institutions, it's the multiplier effect is so much that you have transport businesses, you have a lot people who have businesses around the area, the thing will shoot up, the value of the land, and
Exactly.
so many other things that
Exactly.
happen.
Exactly.
Now, what is your if you're going to provide a solution, what do you think? Even the entire state Southeast governor, is there need for them to come to a round table and map out a strategy, a long-term strategy, maybe what they will provide on the table as incentives for those who want to invest? What do you say on this, sir?
Um, it is very important for um, state partnership,
Yeah,
you know, because when you have that kind of a state partnership, it provides the investors with a very strong optimistic But when you leave an investors to build such kind of a massive investment, where you see the income bracket of those who living in that area are not something that you can guarantee that you have return in your investment.
Yeah.
And when you leave an investor to provide all the entire support structures, range from the road to the security, it becomes too much for that particular investor. So it is important for state government to come to the table to the investors, with the investors, so that we can be able to provide them a partnership with them in terms of building these particular institutions. Remember, when you leave this kind of a high institution only in the hands of the investors, in some cases, it causes the tuition fees to be so high.
Yeah.
But when there is a partnership with the state government, then it has to be a serious discussion about the rate at which we increase the school fees. By that, it will stand to protect the interests of the masses as well as the investor. So it's very important, critically, for the government to come into table with a foreign investor. Remember, when people are investing in, they have a kind of, I'm not sure this particular topic will also lead us to look at the Igbos investing outside, or Igbos are why they're not investing at home. Because if we're talking about
that's the line of question I'm dealing with now. Why do they prefer outside than home? That's the real thing I'm even dealing with now.
Okay. Now let me just give you some kind of perspective why Igbos invest outside the Igbo land. But I'm not saying that it is incorrigible. Igbos, we was made to believe that we are landlocked. That is what we made to believe. As a result, doing business in Igbo land becomes so expensive. But I'm not saying this is incorrigible. I'm not saying this is to encourage people.
Like you're endorsing it.
Yes. Now, let me give you for an example. Moving a container from Lagos to Onitsha, you see a couple of checking points. The amount it will take you to bring a container from Lagos to Onitsha will be equivalent to the amount you ship a container from China to Lagos.
Wow.
Even lesser.
That is irrespective of the distance.
Yeah. Now you see people look at the stress, the various challenging factors. Look at the nation, the state of the road from Lagos to East. How many containers do you see fall down on their way coming down to the East?
Bad roads.
These are people's resources are being wasted. People's destiny are being washed away. In fact, one of my close brother imported a container from China, bringing them down to a club. That container fell down on the road, and what it carries inside was like ties.
Oh, that is a fragile product.
So now you see that. But if our leaders, if the Southeast governors, if they were standing for the interests of the region, it could have sit down together. Why can't we, even at the point where we know there is a political marginalization on the Southeast, they can still come together, bring in individuals or private partnership with the state, and build a port terminal, which is very, very economical, profitable, serve our people. If that has been done, the level, the rate at which people live in Lagos could have reduced by 50% by now.
Wow. Wow.
In fact, it was after this February 25 election that I come to realize that there was a seaport in Enugu before.
Wow.
I come to realize that there is a potential to build a seaport in Anambra and the Imo.
By the Orashi River
Yes,
waters there in
the,
Iri.
the, the research has proven the Anambra was a place destined for seaport before they moved it to Lagos. And it was very close to Atlantic Ocean than Lagos. So
Yeah, that's the analysis.
yeah, that's the analysis. Now we look at these particular natures. And now as an individual, a businessman, you look at this, the cost of moving container from Lagos to East. And now you do it for the first time, second time, third time. You say, now let me have my main office in Lagos. I have branch in Onitsha. When you have your main branch in Lagos, you live in Lagos, actually. That is what it means. And then
That's
you
true.
visit it. Then that you're visiting the East. But I'm not saying that it's incorrigible, because personally myself, no amount of stress will make me to consider investment in Lagos or anywhere outside the Igbo land.
Now that is a mentality. That
The
is a
little,
mentality. You're coming to that aspect of mentality, a resolve
yes,
that despite the challenges, because we're looking at the dilemma, the challenges, and the call for investment. You now, as an individual, have resolved that no matter these disparities, you will not put
yes,
your investment in some places.
yes.
Now,
But
that's your
at
resolve.
the
Now,
same time,
okay,
many of us, many Igbos in diaspora have waken up,
okay,
have waken up now to return back their investment at home. Even in most of the meetings that we heard or we're holding, it's all about how to invest at home. The event of 18th of March taught the Igbos a lesson. Although
sure.
this what
But
happened in 18th of March is similar to what happened to 2015. But
yeah,
after the
that's why I
event,
say every election, it looks like there's a awakening, but the people go back to sleep. Because in 2015, we had that kind of the thing we saw in this election. In 2019, similar things still happened. Now, 2023. So what is not getting clearer is after all this, our people go back to bed and relax, and these things die down like life was normal. So you're saying that there's an awakening now. To what effect? Hello?
hello, sorry, I think it's network.
Yeah, it's okay. You get my last question.
No.
You know, in 2015, like you rightly noted, we had this encounter of the attacks on election period. Everybody believed that it was just politics. Then the people
Yes.
went to bed. Our people relaxed after the election. 2019, the same thing. And now 2023, it's so clear that the situation kept repeating themselves. In any case, when there's a need to change of power, there is a marginalization, there is these attacks. Are you saying that the Igbos are waking up with what action? What action are they putting in place? Is there an action, or we just wake up after some time we go to bed again?
Well, what I can tell you now is that Rome was not built in a day. It's not
Sure.
as easy as you are expecting Igbos to wake up one day and say we are moving back home. Remember, these
It's
are
going to be
people
gradual.
who have centuries invested here, have their buildings, have their businesses. So they can't just wake up and pack their bags and say we're going back home. It will require
You're right.
planning. It will require a little bit long time planning. Because imagine me in South Africa today, wake up, say I'm leaving tomorrow. So it's not that much easy, but I have to set up plans. Say over the time, I am planning to move back east. I'm beginning to put and if putting things in place that will still give me just the same income that I'm earning, even if it's not as much as I was earning. I am telling you here, investment is being driven by a number of factors. One of the factors people look at is the return on investment. But to me, but mostly investors are not looking at the return on investment, but looking at the way the investment itself. So the moment our people get to understand that everything is not about income, the moment they get to understand it, it's not about income, it's about
Yeah.
where my investment is going to be served. If we are 5 people build something here, that area develop. And the moment that area develop, it appreciates. Right? So there was a time that Lagos, that Abuja, that Kaduna, that Port Harcourt were like nothing. It's only when the Igbos begin to invest there, those investments become appreciated and they become have value. At the same time,
That's
if you
right.
have empty land in the village, no infrastructure doesn't appreciate, doesn't have value until when there was a demand for it, has value. So now you have a media space. This media space is also part of the instrument that can be used to converge to our people to see the need to develop your home, the
That's
need
right.
to be able to invest at home, become an instrument to tell them, to use it to gossip, to transform our people mind, to change their orientation and stuff like that, to tell them, look, you don't have to have your village, your house, your home as a burial ground. You
That's
don't
right.
build mansions and live with at home and come and bury you when you die. It's only a living person celebrate his life. So you are also going to be part of the transformation of the Igbos agenda.
You're right.
Through this your space, you will continue to, be able to transform them, change their orientation, change their scenario, tell them, use this media to involving other people on it.
Thank you very much. Um, we have been on the show with my guest, a very important personality, Mr. Sunday Ajachong Ezesele, a lecturer of economics and business studies at the University of Zululand in South Africa, PhD in progress. So I'm very, very grateful for your time. There is one major thing I want us to deal with that has to do with a project in Anambra State. I wanted to respond to it. You're going to speak to it just in a moment. I will show you a slide of the project, then we'll get back. You respond to it. And a little background to it. As a stakeholder in Anambra State and the Globia as a town, you you are already aware of the project that His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, flagged off on the 16th of March. That project is supposed to last for 18 months, as the case may be, supposed to last for 18 months. The project is a flyover with some adjoining roads and the ultra-modern bus terminal. This project has been flagged off. The date of commencement is not yet known, but from the findings we have, there's already a marking of some strategic buildings that ought to leave for this project to be actualized. My guest is Mr. Sunday Ajachong Wezesele. Just in a moment of time, sir, you're going to comment on this project. let's take the second slide I have here. So, sir, the project is a big one, and the purpose for this project, according to His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, um, when he was addressing the people 16th of March, he said he wants a Global town to maintain the urban status. By so doing, he flagged off a flyover, ultra-modern flyover with adjoining roads. Those flyover also, there's a space for a bus terminal, an ultra-modern bus terminal, um, a security building, and I think the fourth or the fifth in there is a fire station, something like that. So, but this project incidentally affects a number of buildings, businesses, and what you consider source of revenues for people within this area. And it's supposed to traverse from Nanka through Ekulobia and towards the Oga axis. So there has been a mixed reactions from people, stakeholders, business people, and of course the sentiments aspect and some professional arguments. The professional argument has to do with the assumed spaces that were covered left and right to be able to pave way for the flyover. As a stakeholder of a club, town, and Anambra State, what's your view on this project, sir?
Thank you so much.
That's funny.
The club, yeah, flyover has attracted a number of reactions from various parties. Due to the commercial value of the land, this commercial value driven by the decreasing income from the business activities in the area. I can tell you something. The traffic condition in the Ekulobia are getting worse day by day. The growing number of the motor vehicle passing through the Ekulobia have amounted to thousands and has increased on a yearly basis. Therefore, flyover is useful to reduce the accumulation of the vehicle volume. Flyover is one way to add a low segment. Yes, people has to bear the cost. Development comes with cost.
That's right.
There is no way a development comes without cost. People has to bear the cost. My main concern is that if we are engaging in this topic with the emotions and biased mind.
Yeah.
It means that, well, what I am getting in from there is that, yes, I know, construction of this flyover will change. It has to change the initial landscape
Sure.
for good. And making a club to look in the same manner that I taught people to live outside the club. Because part of the reason why people leave the Southeast is because of the development, looking at the beautiful infrastructures. This sparked them, encouraged them to live outside. If we have those things here, nobody plan to go out. Take, for example, where I am, the university where I work, the people that I work with, none of them live outside, they live from home. From their home, they go to work, come back home because they have everything they wanted within their own vicinity.
That's right.
It's, it's not, for instance, of they want to go and work, for example, I am from a club, I want to go and work in Lagos. What I'm looking for in Lagos is in a club. Why am I going to Lagos? This is how this place is. Majority of them living in their own family house, go to work at university, come back because the thing they're looking for in Joburg, in Victoria, in Durban is in their home. That's the same infrastructure you're looking for. There is there. The same pick and pay, checkers, the same mall that is in Joburg is here. Why am I going to Joburg? Why am I going to Durban? Why am I going to Cape Town? Why am I going to Pretoria? Those things like that. Now, when our people come to attract bias mind in terms of this flyover, I, I have different perception and feelings about it. Yes, people's houses have to be demolished. When you look at in Lagos, you look at other cities in Port Harcourt, there are houses being demolished. To give that particular area the look it has today, those buildings that are broken for how such kind of infrastructure are being demolished. It's not like ours are also included. I'm
Okay.
not celebrating that the sweat and wealth of our people has to be demolished. But the issue is that it has to be done. Even if we are saying that it's not going to be done now, it's still going to be done tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
If it has to be tomorrow, why not now?
But sir, the question, sorry to interject, the for some persons they welcome the project, but they have the opinion that there should be a construction of what they call bypasses. Like if you are coming from Oka through the Ihopala axis to Uyo joint, to your joint, and then through to Kekulobia, and then from there, also the Umuchi axis through to Umuchana. And some other inroads. Ikulobia is one of the towns blessed with inner roads. Some of the people have argued that whereas the flyover project is okay, why not have these internal roads done first to naturally ease the supposed traffic congestion? That's some of the people's argument. And some others feel that those who are saying the project should go on uh, do not have the sensitivity or sensibility of what those who are projects they are going to lose. And the argument is in that line. So how about the inner roads? Building them and then later on this one done, because people can easily move their businesses to inside the club if they have these roads done. Those are the arguments of some people as well.
Okay, their argument is also very it's understandable. Um, whichever way they're arguing about, it is an individual opinion. People
Yeah.
will say things in such a way that they think they know. people will say things in such a way that they think it's going to be useful for them. Now, my question is this. The inner roads we are talking about, that we want this inner road to be built before the flyover can be construction. Now, my main concern is this. Based on that particular inner road you pointed out, which of that inner road can two vehicles pass without one entering gutter for one to pass? Name one. Which of that inner
Well,
road can trailer pass by?
okay.
Name one. Name one of those inner roads that a trailer can pass freely, and the incoming and outgoing car can just pass by freely. Name one. There is none. So when people construct ideas, they need to be able to look at it in the different ways. If you take from behind, from Igbo, close Oyo, move to a Kofor, tell me where in that area two vehicles can pass confidently. Name one. None. From Umuchiana to down to Aguata,
That's another
tell me
part of
where.
it.
From
I said
roundabout,
that's another perspective too.
yes, from that particular road from Umuchiana trying to Vonik to Aguata, tell me where two vehicles can pass confidently, comfortable. Is there anyone? The answer is no. So when people are trying to make a logic, they need to understand how relevant that logic is all about. Yes, the flyover involve kind of construction risk of burden to the people doing the kind of a business in the areas, a risk of people going to lose their income that are come from the properties and stuff like that. But this is temporary. If, for example, there is other way to let this flyover not to be done, you could have suggested that. But flyover is the only way that can ease the traffic within the Ekulobia roundabout. The flyover is not for Ekulobia people. People must understand that. It's not for Ekulobia people. It's for development of Anambra State, which Ekulobia happen to be in center of that particular geographical area. So if they are talking about the flyover will take away the business or the value of a club at the center of the business away, that is not justified anywhere. That is not. Now, I don't understand the reason why we will be talking about inner road is fine, because it will enhance the development structure, meaning that people cannot understand from Ekulobia to Oko, to Ezinifite or to Sofia. People can take inner road and go wherever they want to go without coming to roundabout. That will also ease the traffic. But it's not the main particular position of that particular flyover in town. People, we are making Oboji as one of pharmaceutical hub, where a number of factories will be allocated to build their manufacturing plant in Oboji. And this flyover will ease them from traffic congestion to move down there. It becomes very easy for people to move from Ekulobia down to Akokwa, from Ekulobia down to other neighboring towns and states. And in doing this, Ekulobia still remain the bus stop. People
That
to
is with
stop
the
by
bus
people going
terminal.
anywhere.
The bus terminal
Yeah,
project.
with the bus terminal. So I don't see reason why people, even if people are saying that let's just go and finish from the auxiliary roads, for we to get it right, houses still have to be demolished. So you don't want your own to be demolished. Somebody else is better to be demolished. Because even if you are saying let's go and expand that auxiliary road to build it, there is no one you can build without touching part of here and part of here to make it to so that two vehicles can pass at the same time. So the general perception of my stand is that flyover have a number of benefits. It's going to control the traffic management and at the same time provide free flow of vehicle. The traffic congestion impose cost to our people. If I'm saying that, people will say there is traffic in Oka, there is in Lagos, there is in Navy, there is that, there is that. Yes, there are all these things. But we will not continue to make that mistake.
Sure.
It has done in the past. We can correct those mistakes. Now, if we have that particular flyover, it will still going to allow the pedestrians to pass safety. People with foot can pass freely. You understand? It will still provide like emergency for vehicles who have a problem. Look at the way we are in Ecuador today. My house is behind the timber shed. I hardly come out to roundabout. I hardly, because I don't have the strength. I will be hold on the traffic. Before I know what happened, I have lost like 2,000 petrol. Before you know what happened, the vehicle that are not in a healthy position will spoil. So people do not understand the amount of standing in that particular traffic. So now the kind of pollution that come out from the vehicles, it imposes so many health issues to our people by standing alone in that traffic for hours.
Right.
The cost is so much, which I believe that the flyover will help us. Even if our people are saying that it's not going to be now, it's not going to be in our present, so it's going to be in the next generation present.
It will surely happen someday.
It surely happens someday, my brother.
Thank you very much. You've been very articulate in your analysis. Lastly on this, do you see Iglobia getting a better, yes, there will be a facelift, but do you see the economy of Iglobia doubling or in any case tripling in the event this project is done? In the event this project is done, do you see Iglobia having its economy doubling or in better shape? Or rather, do you see Iglobia suffering economic loss? What do you see Iglobia in the event this project is completely done as proposed and flagged off by the executive governor? Lastly on this, sir.
I see Ecuador economy improving more than it is today. The presence of this new modern Ecuador will attract so much people into Ecuador. Ecuador will be people's destiny of shopping. People will visit Ecuador more often. So I believe that this will be a great investment that will make people of Ecuador smile.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been a wonderful time with you.
Thank you.
My guest, if I add chief, I don't know whether you have chieftains, then Mr. Sunday Ajachong is a seller, is a lecturer of economics and business studies at the University of Zululand in South Africa, a PhD in progress. We're very grateful for your time today, and we appreciate you so much. And we want to say that from time to time, we will still be obliging, craving your indulgence to make out time so that you can make input on the sensitive issues affecting the Igbos and in general. We're very grateful, sir. Still, today we are looked at the Igbos in Diaspora. They called for Igbos in diaspora, the challenges, the dilemma, and call for home investment, which you have done justice to today. We are very grateful, sir. You've done also justice in touching the proposed project in Ekulobia, which is your hometown, and you've given your verdict. I believe that both the resettlement plan that is in-house by the town and the government's plan will benefit those that are affected in one way or the other. Because it is often said, if there is no pain, there won't be gain. No gain without pain. This is going to be on the both sides. The government has a will to get it done, and the people have to exercise their tolerance and acceptance, bear the pain temporarily to see a facelift. We are very grateful. So you have a final word before we part for today's broadcaster.
My final word is I want to thank you very much for giving me this platform to air my view a number of issues that are confronting our people, both Colombia or Igbos in general. I want to say thank you very much, and it shall be well with all our people, Igbos, anywhere they are, it shall be well with you. And I also want to tell the Igbos, wherever you are, home first. Akuluno, Malonia Balaya. In as much as we are being motivated from the high income we're generating from various areas we are, or perhaps in diaspora, but also I also want you to understand that your home is where investment is much served. Think about returning your investment home, and you'll never get it wrong. Whenever your investment is home, it is served. But when your investment is not at home, you might actually not be pleased wherever you are. The more we invest home, the more we provide employment for our people, before we reduce the amount of humiliation and intimidation that our people are facing in various areas where they are. I want to encourage every one of you to kindly think about investing at home. No matter how little it is, it will go a long way by empowering our people to stay home. Nobody is happy to see our people being dehumanized, being harassed, being killed. Nobody is happy to see our sisters wandering around all over Nigeria because of our area, our region had made to look like a dead region. We can make it work when we put them together. I encourage you to invest home, and it shall be well with you. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much, Sandra Jachong SSL, for this very wonderful outing. We appreciate you so much. Bye bye for
Thank
now.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Our viewers, we are grateful for your time. We just listened to a very special topic, and our guest today was Mr. Sunday Adachong Ezesele. He has done justice to it. We are very grateful for his time, and we're thankful to all of you that followed us. You can leave your comments at the comment section on Facebook, YouTube. We're on YouTube, Agata News TV, on Facebook, Agata News, or Agata News Reporters. We are very grateful. My own name is Ife Dukeke. I'm your host on Gist Time. Thank you very much. We will continue on this program subsequently on other issues. Please, we encourage you to leave your comments, your suggestions for us on the comment section. Thank you very much for coming our way today. We're very grateful. Bye for now.